The mockery for centuries, Earth had been forgotten. The Galactic Empire was vast. It stretched across the stars, claiming planets, controlling races, and ruling with an iron fist. The Empire's military was the most powerful in the galaxy, and its name struck fear into every corner of space. But there was one planet, one world, that the Empire laughed at Earth. Earth was seen as weak, its people primitive and disorganized. For the Empire, Earth was a forgotten backwater, a planet that had long been left behind in history. They mocked Earth's stories, ridiculing its past, calling it a world of chaos. The leaders of the Empire often joked, Earth could never challenge us. For centuries, Earth had nothing to say. It had remained silent, hidden away, watching as the galaxy changed around it. The few who remembered Earth did so only in whispers. Earth was a legend, a myth, a place that had been erased from the stars. But deep within the planet's surface, things were changing. Liren was a young officer working in the communications division of the Galactic Empire. Her job was simple: monitor messages, scan for any signs of trouble, and report back to her superiors. She had grown up hearing the stories of Earth, stories that were often laughed off by the Empire's elite. She had never truly believed them. One day, while scanning the usual galactic frequencies, something strange happened. It was a faint signal, just a blip on her screen. At first, Liren thought it was nothing, a glitch, a mistake in the data. But when the signal repeated, she sat up straighter in her chair. It wasn't random. It was a pattern. She double-checked the source. The signal was coming from Earth's orbit. Her heart skipped a beat. Impossible, Liren muttered to herself. Earth hadn't sent a message in over 3,000 years. Surely this had to be a mistake. But the signal continued, growing stronger with each passing moment. She tried to decode it, but it was unlike anything she had ever seen. The language was old, ancient, almost forgotten. But there was one message that came through clearly: "We are awake." Liren quickly reported the signal to her superior, Captain Jelka. He was an experienced officer, known for his quick decisions and sharp mind. At first, Jelka was dismissive. "Earth, ridiculous," he said. "It's just an old signal, Liren. One of those ancient anomalies we've seen before. Don't waste our time." But Liren was persistent. "Captain, this is not a glitch. It's a message, Earth. It's sending something back." Jelka paused, looking at the screen with a furrowed brow. "If you're right, this could be trouble. But it's Earth. What could they possibly do?" He ordered a small scout ship to investigate the source of the signal. The scouts were the Empire's fastest ships, designed for short-range missions. They would confirm if Earth was simply sending out an old transmission or if there was something more to it. The scouts left quickly, but their report came back almost immediately. It was brief and unsettling. "The signal is real. We are heading to Earth's orbit now. Proceeding with caution." Hours passed. Liren could not sit still, her mind racing. The Empire had dismissed Earth for so long. Now, what if it had been hiding something? What if Earth had developed something powerful, something that could change the balance of the galaxy? The report came in sooner than expected, but it wasn't what anyone had anticipated. The scout ships never made it back. Their last transmission was a single line, crackling over the Empire's communication systems. "We're being watched. There is no escape." Then, silence. The Empire's first response was to send a fleet. They needed to see if Earth was truly a threat or if this was just some anomaly. But even as they prepared, something strange happened. Ships began to appear, more of them, silently dropping out of warp and heading toward Earth. Not one, but dozens of ships, each appearing out of nowhere, moving as if they had always been there. These weren't regular scout ships or small vessels. These ships were massive. Their hulls were dark and sleek, designed for speed and stealth. Their engines burned with a cold blue fire that lit up the surrounding space, and their movements were unlike anything the Empire had ever seen. They teleported across space, vanishing and reappearing without warning. The Empire's fleet tried to pursue, but their ships couldn't keep up. No matter how fast they tried to move, Earth's ships were always one step ahead. They couldn't be tracked, couldn't be caught. Lyran watched the chaos unfold from the communications deck. Her heart was racing. The messages were coming in fast, but they all had one thing in common. Earth's ships were unstoppable. What is happening? She whispered to herself. How could Earth have this? The last message from the Empire fleet was one of pure confusion. We are being outmatched. The Earth fleet, that's not possible. They are here, and they are not what we thought. As the Empire's forces continued to scramble, Lyran couldn't shake the feeling that Earth was no longer the weak, forgotten planet they had once mocked. The power that had been hidden for so long was finally awake, and now it was coming for them. The teleportation fleets, the Empire's confidence, once absolute, began to crack. Earth, a planet they had laughed at for centuries, had become something they didn't understand. Its fleet, appearing out of nowhere, was not just a symbol of strength. It was a force that bent the rules of space itself. And the most terrifying part, it wasn't just one ship. It was an entire fleet, each ship able to teleport across vast distances in the blink of an eye. Lyran watched in awe as the reports continued to flood in. Earth's ships weren't just moving, they were teleporting. No one knew how. No one could track them. 1 minute, they were in one location. The next, they were in another, appearing at the far edge of an Empire-controlled planet, only to disappear once more, leaving destruction in their wake. The Empire's fleet tried to respond, sending warships to defend their colonies, but the human ships were always one step ahead. The Earth fleet didn't need to engage in battle. They simply arrived, wiped out any defenses, and vanished. How do we stop this? Lyran asked herself, her fingers trembling as she typed out the last report to her superiors. She had spent her entire career under the Empire's banner, but nothing in her training had prepared her for this. The Empire called for an emergency meeting. Admiral Vaughn, the highest-ranking military officer in the Empire, was furious. "We cannot let this go on," he said, his voice cold. "These are humans. How are they able to do this? We don't even know how they're moving, let alone what they're capable of." General Rin, one of Vaughn's top commanders, slammed his fist on the table. "Their ships are beyond anything we've encountered. They're not just fighting back, they're toying with us. Teleportation technology, no one has that. Not even the greatest minds in the galaxy. How did they? It doesn't matter how they did it," Vaughn interrupted. "What matters is that they're doing it, and we have to stop them. We're fighting ghosts." For days, the Empire's fleet tried to counter Earth's moves, but each plan failed. Every time they thought they had them cornered, Earth's ships vanished again, reappearing elsewhere, closer to their next target. Lyran sat in the communications room, staring at the screens. Earth's fleet had taken out several Empire supply stations, and the attacks were growing bolder. They were no longer just defending. Now, they were taking the fight to the heart of the Empire, dismantling its military infrastructure piece by piece. The Empire was losing ground, and no one knew how to stop it. Then a new message arrived. This time, it wasn't from Earth. It was from one of the smaller planets that had been hit by the teleporting ships. The message was clear, but chilling. We are joining them. We see now what Earth has become. They do not conquer, they restore. We will not stand with the Empire any longer. The message sent shockwaves through the Empire. One by one, more planets and factions began to speak out. They didn't want to fight. They didn't want to resist anymore. The message Earth had sent wasn't one of war. It was one of peace. Earth's fleet wasn't conquering, it was rebuilding. Admiral Vaughn's face turned red with anger. This is madness. We cannot let this happen. They've turned our own planets against us. General Rin's eyes were cold. It's not just that, Admiral. It's their technology. Their ships are not just moving through space. They're bending it. It's as if they've found a way to manipulate time itself. You mean they could control when and where they fight? Vaughn asked, a horrifying realization dawning on him. Rin nodded. Exactly. They can control the battlefield without lifting a finger. The Empire began to panic. In a desperate attempt to gain an advantage, they turned to their greatest weapon, the Prime Fleet, the most powerful armada ever created. This was the Empire's final hope. The Prime Fleet was equipped with the most advanced technology, including massive energy cannons, fleet-wide shields, and automated drones. But it wasn't enough. The battle that followed was like nothing the galaxy had ever seen. The Prime Fleet charged toward Earth's position, their engines blazing as they moved into the enemy's territory. For the first time, the Empire was ready to strike. But Earth's fleet didn't engage them the way they expected. Instead, Earth's ships disappeared from the Empire's sensors altogether. For a moment, the Empire's fleet stood still, confused. Then, without warning, the Earth's ships reappeared right in the middle of the Prime Fleet. The teleportation was so quick, so precise, that it was impossible for the Empire to react in time. The ships moved so fast that the Empire's weapons couldn't lock on. One by one, Earth's warships again and again, appearing wherever the Empire's defenses were weakest. It was a massacre, Liren. Watching the battle unfold from her station, felt a wave of disbelief wash over her. The Empire's greatest fleet was being torn apart, not by superior firepower, not by sheer force, but by the simple act of moving teleporting. As the battle raged, Earth's ships continued to strike. They never fired a single shot. They didn't need to. They simply appeared, controlled space, and took down the Empire's most advanced ships with ease. By the time the battle was over, Earth's fleet had wiped out the entire Prime Fleet without losing a single ship. The message came shortly after, clear as day. This is not war. This is peace. We have come to restore what was broken. Stand with us or step aside. In the chaos of the Empire's downfall, one thing became clear to everyone. Earth had not returned to fight. They had returned to lead. And the galaxy was about to change forever. Galactic chaos, the Empire's, once unshakable. Control was slipping through its fingers. Earth's teleporting fleet had wiped out the Prime Fleet with terrifying efficiency. The galaxy had watched as Earth's ships appeared, disappeared, and reappeared, ripping apart the Empire's greatest defense. What was more unsettling was that they didn't stop. There they kept moving forward, claiming planet after planet, not with force, but with unity. The Empire's response was desperate. At the heart of the capital, panic was growing. Even the most powerful leaders of the Empire could no longer ignore the threat that Earth posed. Admiral Vaughn, now the Empire's highest-ranking officer, paced the command room, his mind racing. With strategies, we've lost more than just ships, he said, voice low but filled with anger. We've lost control of the galaxy, and no one can tell me how Earth did it, how they've become this powerful. General Rin stood silently at his side. His face was grim. It's not just their ships, Admiral. They have something else. They have followers. Planets that were once loyal to the Empire are now sending messages of peace to Earth, offering their allegiance. They are leaving us. Vaughn turned, frustration boiling inside him. And what do you suggest we do about it, Rin? The general didn't respond at first, then said, "There's no easy answer. Earth's fleet. It's not just a fleet of warships. It's a force of influence. The galaxy is beginning to see Earth as more than just a planet it's becoming. A new kind of leader. People are tired of war, tired of the Empire's endless control, and Earth offers them a different path." Lyran, now working with the Empire's intelligence division, felt the weight of the Empire's desperation. She had seen the way Earth's fleet moved, calm, methodical, and precise. Earth's ships didn't just fight, they controlled space. They controlled the minds of the galaxy. It was clear to her now. Earth wasn't here to destroy it, was here to reshape everything. "Do you think we have a chance?" Lyran asked her colleague, a weary officer named Arik. Arik rubbed his face, sighing. "I don't know, Lyran. If we can't even catch them, what hope do we have? Their ships disappear and reappear wherever they want, and every time we think we're getting close, they vanish again." As the days passed, Earth's influence spread. Several outer colonies, tired of the Empire's oppressive rule, sent emissaries to Earth, asking for peace, offering their allegiance. The Empire, once the dominant force in the galaxy, was losing its grip. One such colony was Tornin, a mining world on the edge of the galaxy. For years, it had been under Empire rule, exploited for its resources, its people treated as nothing more than workers. But with Earth's fleet moving closer, the people of Tornine saw an opportunity to break free from the Empire's grasp. A message was sent to Earth. "We wish to join you. We wish to stand by you. We can no longer live under the Empire's heel." And just like that, another planet became a part of Earth's growing alliance. In response, the Empire dispatched a large fleet to Tornine, hoping to suppress the growing rebellion before it could spread further. But Earth was already there. Lyran's eyes widened as the reports came in. The Empire's fleet had arrived, ready to bombard Tornine with missiles and firepower. But before they could even launch their first strike, Earth's ships appeared above. The planet's surface, the Empire's fleet tried to fire, but their weapons didn't work. Earth's ships didn't even move. They just hovered, their technology bending the laws of physics. The missiles launched by the Empire suddenly froze mid-air, dropping harmlessly to the surface below. The Empire had no idea how Earth was doing. They couldn't understand it. And then, as Earth's fleet moved in closer, they simply disappeared. Lyran watched, helpless. Earth's ships teleported again, this time right into the heart of the Empire's attacking fleet. There was no battle, only the terrifying realization that Earth didn't need to fight. They simply moved, appearing wherever they were needed. The Empire's fleet scattered in chaos, unable to keep up. Earth's warships destroyed the entire fleet. Without even firing a shot, Back on Earth's flagship, Commander Elara watched the scene unfold, her face calm and focused. She had been preparing for this moment for years. The galaxy had been divided, torn apart by war and greed. But now it was time for change. "We don't need to destroy the Empire," Elara said softly to her crew. "We just need to show them that the galaxy can be rebuilt. We can lead by example, by unity." Her words carried the weight of centuries, of Earth's silence. They had waited, rebuilt, and prepared. Now they were ready to bring the galaxy together. The message went out, not just to the Empire, but to every corner of the galaxy. We are not here to conquer. We are here to restore. Join us or step aside. The future is ours. The message sent shockwaves through the galaxy. On one hand, there was fear. Fear of change. Fear of losing everything the Empire had built. But on the other hand, there was hope. Hope that maybe, just maybe, the endless wars, the tyranny, and the oppression could finally come to an end. For the first time in millennia, the galaxy was faced with a choice. Would they stand with Earth, or would they continue to follow the Empire into an endless war? Earth's true power, the galaxy, was at a crossroads. The message from Earth had spread like wildfire, sparking fear and hope in equal measure. The Empire's once unified rule was crumbling under the weight of rebellion, while Earth's growing alliance of planets continued to grow, unnoticed by the ruling power. Admiral Vaughn, still furious and desperate, had no answers. The Empire had tried everything. Fleets were sent to stop Earth, only to be wiped out in minutes, and each victory left the Empire more vulnerable. But it wasn't the battle tactics, the ships, or the weapons that terrified Vaughn. It was Earth's control over space itself. Earth's fleet didn't just use technology, they manipulated it. "Where are they getting this power?" Vaughn demanded, slamming his fist onto the table in the war room. His eyes were bloodshot, exhaustion from days of endless fighting weighing heavily on him. "How are they bending space? How are their ships able to vanish and reappear at will?" General Rin, standing across the room, stared at the map of the galaxy. The once unshakable Empire now looked like a fragile house of cards. "We've tried everything we can think of, Admiral. They don't just have superior technology, they're rewriting the rules." Vaughn clenched his jaw. "Then, we need to know their secret. We need to understand what Earth has done and how they're doing it." Lyran sat quietly at her desk in the communications room, reviewing the endless reports. Earth's fleets had taken control of more planets. They weren't doing it with force, but with sheer power, the ability to teleport their warships wherever they chose. Teleportation was the key to their success, and every time they used it, it seemed to have more devastating effects. The Empire couldn't match them, but there was more to it than just teleportation. Lyran had been part of the team that analyzed Earth's communications. Something wasn't adding up. Earth wasn't just using technology, they were controlling it, shaping it, like an invisible hand guiding the flow of space itself. Her curiosity led her to one of the most classified archives of the Empire, where old records of Earth's experiments were stored. She knew she wasn't supposed to access it, but this wasn't just about orders, it was about survival. She dug through layers of data until she found it, an old experiment from before Earth's silence, a project titled Chronofield Manipulation. It described a way to control spacetime and ability to bend the very fabric of reality. Earth hadn't just developed teleportation, they had mastered space manipulation itself. The true power behind Earth's ships wasn't just advanced technology, it was an understanding of the very laws of the universe. Meanwhile, Earth's fleet continued to advance across the galaxy without firing a single shot. Their ships moved, like shadows in the night, always unseen until it was too late. They didn't need to fight the Empire in traditional ways. They didn't need to destroy entire fleets. They simply rearranged the battlefield to their advantage. Commander Elara stood on the bridge of her flagship, watching the stars in the distance. The war was almost over, not because Earth had the greatest weapons, but because they had the greatest understanding of space itself. We didn't just survive, Elara said softly to her crew. We evolved. We don't need to conquer. We just need to show them what is possible. The galaxy can be better, and we will lead it there. Back in the Empire's war room, Lyran finally presented her findings to Admiral Vaughn as she spoke of the chronofield manipulation project. Vaughn's face grew pale. You mean to tell me Earth has the ability to control time itself? Vaughn asked, disbelief creeping into his voice. Lyran nodded. Not just time, space itself. They can teleport, yes, but they can also reshape reality, bending the very fabric of the galaxy to their will. Vaughn's mind raced. But if they can control space, if they can rewrite the rules of physics, then what are we fighting against? We can't beat that. You don't need to beat it, Lyran said quietly. You need to understand it. Earth doesn't want to destroy us. They're trying to show us a new way. They've learned to manipulate the very essence of the universe, and now they want the galaxy to join them. Vaughn clenched his fists, the weight of the realization settling. On him, the Empire couldn't fight Earth in the conventional way. It was like trying to fight the wind. The galaxy was changing, whether the Empire wanted it or not. Earth's fleet continued its peaceful march, but now their message was clearer than ever before. Join us or step aside. We are not here to destroy. We are here to rebuild. And as Earth's fleet moved from one world to the next, the Empire's control over the galaxy began to crumble. Entire star systems that had been under the Empire's rule for centuries began to send their representatives to Earth's ships, offering peace and pledging loyalty to Earth's vision of the future. One by one, planets were joining Earth, leaving the Empire in the dust. In a quiet room aboard Earth's flagship, Commander Elara received a message from one of the rebel colonies. We stand with you. The Empire has fallen. Lead us to the new galaxy. Elara stood in silence for a moment, looking out into the void of space. Earth's fleet had not only defeated the Empire, they had united the galaxy under a single vision. Unity through understanding. It wasn't about war. It was about a future where no one had to fight for peace, where the galaxy could be healed, piece by piece, by the simple truth that power wasn't about destruction, it was about connection. And Earth had mastered that. Asterisk from silence. Power. The galaxy was no longer the same. For thousands of years, the Galactic Empire had ruled with fear and force, controlling planets and suppressing anyone who dared to challenge its authority. But Earth had returned. Earth, the planet thought to be nothing more than a legend, had shown the galaxy that it was not just a survivor. It was a force that could reshape the very fabric of space and time. The Empire had underestimated Earth's true potential, and now that mistake was coming to haunt them. Admiral Vaughn watched as the stars twinkled outside his office window. The Empire, his empire, was in ruins. The fleets were scattered, the colonies in revolt, and the once proud war machines of the Empire lay in ruin. Earth's fleet had not only destroyed their military might, they had shattered the very foundation of the Empire's rule. What once seemed impossible was now undeniable. Earth was not just a power, it was the power that would lead the galaxy into a new era. The choice had been made. At the heart of Earth's fleet, Commander Alara stood in front of a holographic map of the galaxy. Earth's ships were no longer just defenders. They were the foundation of a new alliance, an alliance built on unity, understanding, and peace. She had watched the galaxy tear itself apart for centuries. The endless wars, the suffering, the bloodshed. Now it was time to end all that. "We are not here to dominate," Alara said, her voice calm but filled with strength. "We are here to guide the galaxy to its next stage. No more oppression, no more fear. We will build something new." The message from Earth had spread to every corner of the galaxy, carried by Earth's ships as they moved from one system to the next. Planets that had once stood with the Empire now stood with Earth. The Empire's control was slipping away. But the galaxy was not falling apart, it was uniting, piece by piece. Under a new banner, on the one-century-old world of Necron 9, the people gathered in the streets, watching Earth's ships descend from the sky. The rulers of Necron 9 had once oppressed their people, following the Empire's orders without question. But now, those same rulers were on their knees, offering their allegiance to Earth. The people had risen up, breaking the chains that bound them, and they stood together with Earth in the hopes of a brighter future. The ruler of Necron 9, once a proud figurehead of the Empire, walked forward. His hands were trembling, but his voice was clear. "We see now, Earth has shown us the way. We stand with you. Lead us." The crowd cheered, their voices rising like a wave. They were free, free from fear, free from the Empire. In the Empire's broken capital, the final remnants of its government convened one last time. The once proud leaders were now scattered, struggling to maintain control, but they could feel the weight of their defeat. Earth had won not through destruction, but through unity, and the galaxy had followed. Varn sat at the head of the table, his face hard with resolve. He could see the writing on the wall. The Empire's time was over. The choice was clear. There would be no more fighting. There would be no more bloodshed. Earth had shown them the way. The message was broadcast to every planet in the galaxy, carried on Earth's fleet, loud and clear. The Empire has fallen, but this is not the end. This is the beginning. We will rebuild what was broken. We will heal what was lost. We are Earth, and we are here to lead. The final moments of the Empire's rule were quiet, as planets that once feared them now stood with Earth. The galaxy, once divided by war and hatred, now looked to Earth, waiting for its guidance. Earth had become the galaxy's guiding light, its protector, its unifier. But Earth wasn't interested in ruling. Earth was interested in leading, to show the galaxy that peace was possible, to rebuild what had been broken for so long. Commander Alara stood on the bridge of the flagship, looking out into the vastness of space. The work was far from over, but for the first time, the stars seemed to shine brighter. "We didn't need to destroy the Empire," she whispered to herself. "We needed to show them that there was a better way, a way to move forward, together." Her words echoed in the silence of space. Peace had arrived. And so, Earth's new role as the leader of the galaxy was solidified. It was no longer a place of isolation, a myth of the past. Earth was now a beacon of hope, a symbol that change was not just possible, but inevitable. With Earth's leadership, The galaxy was united under a common cause. The pain of the past was healed, and the hope for a brighter future bloomed as Earth's fleet traveled the stars, spreading peace and rebuilding the broken parts of the galaxy. One thing was clear: the silence had broken, and with it the power to reshape the universe. Earth had not just returned, Earth had changed everything.